okay? So managing your property, okay? You've got to be good at one or the other things in this business. And this is a business. As an investor, you're in a business. You know what I say. I don't think there's any such thing as a passive investment. I think any investment requires attention, even putting your money in the bank. And the reason is that in the bank, you have inflation and tax liability. And you've got to pay attention to that. Because if inflation rears its ugly head and your money's in the bank, your wealth is getting destroyed and attacked by inflation. Remember, inflation destroys the value of your savings, your stocks, your bonds, and thankfully your debt. It destroys the value of debt. Inflation transfers wealth from lenders to borrowers. And that's a wonderful thing for us. So be a borrower. Even if the inflation rate is low, it still transfers it. Even if the inflation rate is 2% annually, just 2%, tiny inflation, and everybody in this room would agree. If it's 2% and you have $1 million in real estate debt, that's 20 grand a year you got as the gift of inflation. And everybody else is getting hurt by inflation who doesn't have investment grade debt, and you're benefiting from it. I mean, $20,000 a year. If you earn $100,000 a year, that's like earning $120,000 a year. It's like you got a 20% raise. It's pretty great, okay? So managing your manager, okay? Obviously, 3 primary roles. Screen and place tenants. This is what your manager is responsible for. Collecting rents and removing non-performing tenants and overseeing maintenance of the property. There are all kinds of things in your investment career that you'll get better at keeping repair costs low and making your properties more bulletproof, okay? It's critical that your manager screen tenants well. Fair housing standards, obviously, can't discriminate, okay? Avoid being penny wise and pound foolish. That goes back to the discussion we had on repair items and deferred maintenance. So deferring maintenance initially, it might be great, but in the long run, it can cost you more money. Do I think you need to pressure wash your house every year? God, no. I have houses I've never pressure washed. I mean, these property managers that want to do that, I think they must own a pressure washing company and they're getting a kickback. Maybe their brother owns it or something, okay? So look at your property management agreements, okay? In those property management agreements, there's one super important thing I want you to look out for in there. So let's talk about something I really don't like in a property management agreement. Bless you. In a property management agreement, they will have repair clauses. And I want you to watch out for these. Your property manager, if there is an emergency situation, what defines an emergency? Something like a water leak. That needs to be taken care of right away. Your property manager has discretion to fix this, okay? So if a pipe breaks and the tenant calls up and says, hey, property manager, a pipe broke and water's leaking all over the place, they can dispatch a plumber and stop the damage, stop the bleeding, if you will, right away. They have discretion to do that even if they can't reach you. But there are other clauses in property management agreements that say for small items, basically, how much discretion should you give your manager? And some of these things say things like $400 per incident. Some of them say $400 per month. Some of them say $100, none of them say $100 anymore. They used to say that. They might say $200 per incident or $200 per month. What do I want you to do? Well, it depends. It depends how easy it is to reach you. Now, personally, I like being connected. I don't understand these people that say, well, I just want to go lay on the beach in the Caribbean and be disconnected. That's just not appealing to me at all. Okay? But maybe it is to you. And, I just like, every time I think of something and have a question, I just like to have the internet right there so I can get the answer. Wikipedia is like a great site. I donate money to it every year. Love Wikipedia. And so I like being connected. But if you're one of these people that is not very responsive or connected, then your property manager kind of has the right to say, look, if something's got to be fixed and we can't reach you, then, we got to be able to do our job and make the tenant happy and keep them happy, right? But I don't want to be disconnected like that. If a property manager sends me an email, no matter where I am on planet Earth, I'm going to get that email pretty quickly. And I'm going to reply to them and say, yeah, go ahead and fix it, or no, don't. Get another quote, get another estimate, okay? So for my property management agreements, I don't like this. The property managers can abuse these discretionary clauses. And somehow, when you give them more discretion, you just somehow magically have higher repair bills every month, okay? So I would want you to say something like, no more than $200 per month discretionary, not per incident. There's a difference. An incident is, what if the tenant calls the property manager twice in a month? That's 2 incidents. Then they can spend $400 without you even knowing it. And you get your statement, and you thought your rent was $1,200, but now you only got $800. You see how that goes? I don't like this, okay?
Can you